We're all breathlessly waiting to see Doctors Roger Martin and Ryan Hubbard respond to the challenge. Gentlemen, you're on.
So now we will bring the level down to here, okay? So good morning. The tall guy is Dr. Hubbard, the short guy is Dr. Martin. And so we will be kind of bringing this all together. And having heard Dr. Goebel and Dr. Trentaz and Bart Valentine talk, it really is something, what we're going to do is kind of bring everything together. Now I have a very unique perspective in relationship to majors and jobs and so on and so forth, because I was a student here. I graduated from here in 1994 and got a bachelor's degree in business here. And I spent 30 years in industry. So I understand what businesses are looking for, and this is all types of businesses. However, in preparation for this morning, really wanted to get some detail in relationship to what various types of companies are looking for in students. So I did walk around and look at your comments. I found your comments illuminating, and I think you guys are really thinking about this stuff in the right way. Now, there is an excellent book that I read 2 summers ago, and it was written by a guy named Thomas Friedman. And Friedman talks about, the title of the book is That Used to Be Us. And what he was doing is he put China and the United States in a juxtaposition to kind of look at the passion and the growth that China was experiencing and our kind of stagnation here in the United States. The fact that we couldn't, he used this illustration of not being able to fix an escalator in 6 months, whereas China could build a convention center in 3 months and get it up and operating in a safe manner. So I thought it was a very fascinating thing. But in this book, he talks about how jobs are changing, and the middle jobs, the jobs that used to be there for people in what we considered middle class, were going other places. And so what was happening then is that creative complex jobs that require critical thinking, problem solving, technical skills, which Bart was talking about earlier, those jobs are flourishing in this country, as are the more mundane jobs, such as working at McDonald's or whatever. So the competition for these jobs are becoming greater, and so therefore having those skills that are so necessary. So now, you look at what the data is saying, and the data is telling us that employers are still find the bachelor's degree very important. And in fact, 39% of employers today, and this is all industries, okay, 39% of employers still value the bachelor's degree the same as they did 5 years ago. So that's a good thing. Getting a bachelor's degree is important. 33% of employers actually think that the bachelor's degree is more important today than they did 5 years ago. So you're on the right path to get the bachelor's degree. Okay, and so in fact, many companies won't even look at a resume unless they have a bachelor's degree. So that's very important. Master's degree, or the importance of the master's degree is also climbing. Now, employers are still complaining about the new employees that are coming right out of college. They're saying that that critical thinking is missing, problem-solving skills are missing, and so on and so forth. But Ryan's going to talk, and as will I later on, we're talking about what we're doing to ensure that that isn't the case here, because there are certain skills that companies are looking for. 5%, the unemployment rate for people with bachelor's degree is running about 5%. Now, what that represents in economics, we talk about this thing called the natural unemployment rate. And the natural unemployment rate usually runs about 5 to 7%. And what that means is that people who want to have jobs. And so what economists call it will be frictional unemployment. You get upset at your employer, you decide you want to go find another job, you go find another job, and during that point in time that you're not working, you're unemployed. And that's what that 5 to 7% represents. So the bachelor's degree then is a valuable tool to keep you employed, which is a good thing. Now, what does the bachelor's degree tell a future employer? Okay, we call it the signal effect, because as you complete this bachelor's degree, what you're telling these future employers, these the people that are going to give you your future jobs, is that number one, you can work towards a goal. That's the first and foremost, that you can complete something, that you can handle multiple requirements, that you can multitask, okay, and that you can write and speak. And in this environment, you're going to do a lot of that, which is a good thing. You're motivated. You want to complete something. You want to be better. And so you're motivated to do these things. And someone who has staying power, that you're committed to get something accomplished. And so those are the things that are signaled to a future employer when you complete this bachelor's degree, okay, to help prepare you for those more complex jobs. Okay?
How's everyone doing today? Good? Okay, stay that way. All right. So I have some good news. I have some good news and some bad news for you. I'm going to start with the bad news. Okay. As I was preparing this, and I'm going to throw a bunch of statistics at you very shortly, and I found them rather depressing. So I'm going to start with the bad news, and we'll spin it back to good news. Kind of echoing what Dr. Martin said in terms of juxtaposing U.S. and China. I too believe we're in a global society. Okay, when I was growing up, and those before me, when you're looking for jobs, you were dealing with people in the United States. That is no longer the case. As all of you know, people from all over the world are moving here, and jobs are going all over the world. So with that in mind, I want to throw a few stats I have from McKinsey Global Institute. When it talks about youth or young adults, which is ages 15 to 29, which many of you will fall in. So by 2020, which may seem far away, but it is not, okay, an estimated global shortfall of 85 million high to middle skilled workers. So Dr. Martin talked about some of that, what we deem the middle class and those type of jobs. There's going to be a shortfall globally. Many of you will fall in. So by 2020, which may seem far away, but it is not, okay, an estimated global shortfall of 85 million high to middle skilled workers. So Dr. Martin talked about some of that, what we deem the middle class and those type of jobs. There's going to be a shortfall globally. Currently, there's 75 million youth unemployed worldwide. Okay, 44% of American youth question whether college improved their chances of finding a job. Okay, and that's been talked about a little bit. Dr. Goebel touched on that, and why do you come to college, as did Professor Valentine. Okay. Also looking here at these are 2011 numbers. Unemployment rates for young people, again 15 to 29 age group, was 15%. Okay, across more than 100 countries, 3 times higher than those over the age of 30. So with that, within those numbers, only 55% landed a job in the relevant field, in the field they intended to be in. Okay, with 25% of those finding interim work, so not a lasting full-time job. Okay, kind of continuing on this, again, sorry for the depressing news. Only 43% of employers agreed that they could find enough skilled entry-level workers. Okay, and on average, employers of mid-sized companies, those are companies size 50 to 500 employees, on average had 13 entry-level openings that went unfilled because they couldn't find qualified candidates. Larger companies, 500 and above, had averaged 27 openings. Okay? And my last bit of not so great news comes from the Chronicle of Higher Ed, where it mentions approximately 55% of college grads in 2010 were underemployed, meaning that their job required less than a bachelor's. Okay, and Dr. Martin talked about how a bachelor's is still deemed very important in terms of a job requirement. Okay, starting to turn the tide a little bit. Going back to the McKinsey report, 86% of employers would pay more for the right talent. Okay, so if you have talent, you'll be paid for it. Doesn't mean you're going to become rich and famous, but you'll be paid. Okay, and 96% of these companies in the U.S. said they're willing to train their new hires on average about 20 days of training. That number may be a little bit inflated, but the idea is if you have the talent and they want you, they will help train you and get you prepared, but there is expectation that you'll be ready to go. Okay? So what we'll look at here, kind of flipping that, is how does education translate in the workplace? Again, we've kind of talked about some things. Dr. Gold mentioned it, Professor Valentine, Dr. Trent has, okay, in terms of what a liberal arts education is, what a Christian liberal arts education is, and kind of looking at what employers have found, kind of piggybacking with Dr. Goebel, a lack of oral and written communication, decision-making, analytical and research skills, lacking ability to analyze data, and to construct a clear argument. Okay? The good news is that you've come to the right place to learn all those things. Okay? Your education at Warner is going to prepare you to be educated in such ways. On top of that, for many employers, on-the-job experience trumps whatever your major may be or however high your GPA is. So from that standpoint, one of the other facets that we really take to heart here at Warner is lumping it under the big umbrella of experiential learning, whether it's internships, service learning. We have a common day of service. Those of you, again, here engaged in FYLCs where we get hands-on experience. Okay, we provide you the opportunity to apply that knowledge and understand what it takes to work in a professional realm. So what we're hoping is through your holistic education here that we'll prepare you, okay, to go out and be those people that employers want to have work with them. Okay, and I have a little Chinese proverb that I like in terms of how the hands-on and application of knowledge. I hear and I forget. Okay? I see and I remember. I do and I understand. Okay, what we want to do here is to have you see things so that you remember them, and to have you do things so you understand how to do them and how they work. Okay, we don't want you to sit in the classroom and just listen. We want you to actively engage. Okay, and some of the things we're doing, kind of in conclusion, I have my foot in two different majors with our new sport and rec management major. Part of what we're doing, and this is the second year this has started, really working on trying to provide relevant practical activities and assignments, hands-on experience in the classroom combined with bringing in guest speakers, going to site visits, creating internships. We'll have 2 years of internships. Really that will foster engagement, develop relationships, not only in the college, but in the city of Portland. And with Health and Human Kinetics, we're constantly working on the majors to provide students with clear paths to employment, have clear-cut majors, look at additional certifications, which was mentioned earlier as well, that demonstrate knowledge and competence.
So, Dr. and Hubbard, we agreed that if we're going to be up here, we should get the opportunity to plug our programs. So, okay? So, within the business program, what we're doing is our strategy is very simple. Engage the students in the classroom. We want you to think, we want you to talk, we want you to be engaged with the theory, but we also want you to practice that theory in the community. So that's internships, just like Ryan was saying, and other practical applications of what you're learning in the classroom. Also, the third part of our strategy involves creating strong business partnerships. And so getting businesses within the community onto our campus to meet you because we believe in you. We believe in what you're capable of doing, and we think that if those businesses meet you, that they will want to hire you, whatever those businesses are. And so we want them to meet you because we believe that. And lastly, I think that we have to recognize that the modern world has changed a lot over the modern history of the world, and specifically the United States. At one particular time, we were in the agrarian industry where farming was the most important part of our society. Then we moved into this thing called the industrial age, where all of a sudden manufacturing was very important in what we were doing, and it created a lot of growth and a lot of wealth in this country. But I truly believe that the age that we're in right now is called the conceptual age. And the conceptual age is this age that requires people to have the skills to not only come up with good ideas, okay, which is critical, but also to be able to create plans to implement those creative ideas. But on top of that, they need to have the charisma, the strength, the stick-to-itiveness to complete those plans and accomplish those plans. That's the age that we're in, and that's what the skills you're going to get here at Warner Pacific. Thank you.
We should have, there's,